Ladies, let me ask you something. Why is it that when a man leads, he's called strong, but when a woman leads, she's called too much? Too ambitious, too opinionated, too emotional, too confident. It's time we stop waiting for approval and start owning our power. We hear the phrase man up all the time, but why? Why should strength be measured by masculinity? Today I say it's time to women up. Strength has long been defined through a narrow lens, one that often associates power with physical dominance, authority, and aggression. For centuries, societies across the world have painted strength as something inherently masculine, something that requires force, toughness, and the ability to suppress emotions. But this definition is outdated, it's limiting. It's time we break free from this rigid mold and redefine strength in a way that truly reflects the depth, resilience, and power that women embody every single day. Strength is not about the absence of vulnerability, it is about the courage to embrace it. Women have been conditioned to believe that showing emotions is a sign of weakness, that being empathetic makes them less competent, that expressing pain makes them fragile. But the truth is, it takes immense strength to be vulnerable, to acknowledge pain, and still stand tall. The ability to feel deeply, to connect, to nurture, and to heal. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of an indomitable spirit. From the moment a woman is born, she is expected to prove her worth, to fight against stereotypes, to navigate spaces that weren't designed for her. And yet she does. Every day, women push forward, balancing responsibilities, breaking barriers, and carrying the weight of expectations, often without recognition. Strength is waking up and choosing to fight for your dreams, even when the odds are stacked against you. It is about knowing your value in a world that constantly tries to diminish it. It is about standing firm in your identity, your voice, and your truth, even when it makes others uncomfortable. For far too long, power has been equated with dominance, with the ability to control and dictate. But true power is not about exerting force over others. It is about the ability to inspire, to uplift, and to lead with purpose. Women don't need to become more like men to be strong. They don't need to adopt aggression or suppress their natural instincts to fit into the traditional definition of power. Their strength lies in their ability to lead with empathy, to drive change with compassion, and to transform lives through connection and understanding. Think about the women who have shaped history, not by conforming, but by redefining what it means to be powerful. Think about the mothers who sacrifice daily to provide for their children, the activists who risk everything for justice, the leaders who shatter ceilings despite being told they don't belong. Think about the artists, the thinkers, the warriors, the survivors. Their strength is not in how loud they can shout or how forcefully they can command a room. Their strength is in their persistence, their unwavering belief in their cause, their refusal to be silenced. Women's strength is often unseen, unspoken, and underestimated. But it is there in every choice to rise, every decision to challenge, every step forward when the world says to step back. It is in the way women turn pain into power, adversity into action, setbacks into comebacks. It is in the way they build, the way they nurture, the way they create. Strength is not about being unbreakable. It is about knowing you can rebuild yourself no matter how many times you've been torn down. The world needs to stop telling women to be strong like men and start recognizing that women have always been strong. They don't need permission to own their power, to define it in their own way, and to wear it unapologetically. The time has come to expand the meaning of strength, to recognize it in all its forms, and to honor the undeniable force that women bring to the world every single day. From the moment a girl is born, she is placed in a mold, one shaped by tradition, expectations, and societal norms. She is taught how to sit, how to speak, how to behave. She is told what is acceptable and what is not, what she can dream of and what is beyond her reach. The world draws invisible lines around her, carefully crafting a version of femininity that is palatable, that does not disrupt, that does not threaten the status quo. But here's the truth. These molds were never meant to contain the fire that burns within her. They were never meant to hold back the brilliance, the ambition, the limitless potential of a woman who dares to dream beyond what she has been told. For generations, women have been expected to fit into roles defined for them. nurturers, caretakers, supporters, the ones who stand behind, not in front. Even as the world evolves, the pressure to conform remains. Women who speak too boldly are called difficult. Those who choose careers over marriage are labeled selfish. Those who refuse to apologize for their ambition are seen as intimidating. And those who demand respect instead of mere acknowledgement are often met with resistance. These stereotypes are not just words, they are barriers designed to make women question their own worth, to make them shrink when they were meant to expand. Breaking the mold is not just an act of defiance, it is an act of self-preservation. It is choosing to step outside the lines, to carve a path that is uniquely yours. It is about refusing to ask for permission to exist fully, to dream boldly, to take up space unapologetically. The world may not always be ready for women who challenge norms, but that has never stopped them before. History is proof that progress was never handed to women, it was fought for. It was demanded. It was taken by those who refused to be boxed in. Think of the women who have rewritten the rules simply by existing as their truest selves. The scientists who entered fields where they were told they didn't belong. The artists who created despite being overlooked. The leaders who rose despite being doubted. These women did not wait for an invitation. They built their own doors and walked through them with power and purpose. They did not allow a predetermined script to dictate their story. They wrote their own chapters, their own endings. They shattered every expectation that tried to contain them, proving that no mold is stronger than a woman who knows her worth. But breaking the mold does not come without challenges. It is met with resistance, with criticism, with attempts to force women back into the roles that make others comfortable. It requires courage. The courage to be different, to be misunderstood, to be the first. Knowing that the path you clear will make it easier for those who come after you. It requires resilience, the ability to keep pushing forward, even when the world tells you to slow down, to step aside, to wait for a more convenient time. And most of all, it requires unwavering belief in oneself, the kind that does not waver in the face of doubt. The kind that says, I belong here, whether you accept it or not. The truth is, there is no single way to be a woman. There is no predefined role, no expectation that should outweigh your own desires, your own ambitions, your own truth. No one gets to decide your limits for you. No one gets to define success on your behalf. And no mold, no matter how deeply ingrained, should be strong enough to hold you back from becoming exactly who you were always meant to be. For far too long, society has conditioned women to see each other as competition rather than allies. It has placed them in a race where they are told that success is limited, that only a select few can rise, that power is a privilege reserved for the few who can fight their way to the top. Women have been pitted against each other in workplaces, in industries, in families, and even in friendships, made to believe that another woman's success somehow threatens their own. But this is a lie designed to keep women divided, to keep them distracted, to prevent them from realizing the power they hold when they stand together. The truth is, when women lift each other up, they don't just rise, they soar. Lifting each other up is more than just words of encouragement. It is an intentional choice to support, to empower, and to amplify one another's voices. It is understanding that another woman's success is not a threat but an inspiration, proof that barriers can be broken, proof that dreams can be achieved. There is no need for competition when the goal is collective success. Every time a woman breaks through a glass ceiling, she makes it easier for others to follow. Every time she creates space at the table, she ensures that another woman will never have to fight to be heard. But lifting each other up is not always easy. It requires unlearning the deeply rooted insecurities that society has planted. It requires letting go of jealousy, of comparison, of the need to be the only one shining in the room. It requires recognizing that true empowerment is not about standing alone in the spotlight, but making sure there is enough light for everyone. It is about celebrating the victories of other women just as loudly as we celebrate our own. It is about recognizing that every woman is fighting a battle the world may never see, and that the smallest act of support can change everything. In workplaces, it means advocating for each other, recommending a female colleague for a promotion, speaking her name in rooms where opportunities exist, ensuring that her ideas are heard and not overlooked. In industries dominated by men, it means creating networks, mentorship programs, and safe spaces where women can share knowledge, uplift one another, and break down the barriers that have held them back for so long. In everyday life, it means being there, offering a word of encouragement, showing up for each other's dreams, reminding one another that they are capable, deserving, and powerful. Some of the most groundbreaking movements in history have been led by women who refused to leave each other behind, women who marched together, who fought together, who stood hand in hand and declared that their collective power was stronger than any system designed to suppress them. This is the kind of energy the world needs today. Women supporting women, not just in moments of crisis, but in moments of triumph, in moments of ambition, in the quiet moments where self-doubt creeps in. There is space for every woman to succeed. There is no limit to how high we can go when we climb together, when we build bridges instead of walls, when we see each other not as threats, but as sisters, as partners in change, as allies in the fight for equality. The moment women stop seeing each other as competition and start recognizing the power of unity, the world will have no choice but to take notice. Because when one woman rises, she does not rise alone, she lifts an entire generation with her. Walking into a room is more than just entering a space. It is about owning it. It is about standing tall, speaking with conviction, and making sure that presence is felt before a single word is spoken. Too often, women are made to feel like they need permission to take up space, to voice their ideas, to lead with authority. They are told to be polite, to be accommodating, to soften their edges so they do not come across as too assertive or intimidating. But the days of shrinking to fit into spaces that were not built for women are over. It is time to walk into every room like you belong, because you do. Commanding the room is not about arrogance, it is about confidence. It is about knowing that your voice, your perspective, and your contributions are valuable. It is about refusing to let outdated stereotypes define how you should behave or what level of power you can hold. Women have been silenced, overlooked, and underestimated for far too long. But history has proven that the most powerful voices are often the ones that were once told to stay quiet. The key to commanding a room is believing that you are meant to be there, not because someone granted you access, but because you have earned your place. Confidence is not something that is given, it is something that is built. It comes from preparation, from knowledge, from experience, and from the unwavering belief that you are just as capable, just as intelligent, and just as deserving as anyone else in the room. But confidence alone is not enough. There must also be presence, the way you carry yourself, the way you project your voice, the way you engage with others. All of these elements contribute to how you are perceived. A strong presence does not mean being the loudest person in the room. It means being the most assured. It means speaking with purpose, making eye contact, and holding your ground even when challenged. It means understanding that silence can be just as powerful as words when used strategically. There will always be resistance when women assert themselves in spaces that have historically been dominated by men. They will be called aggressive when they are simply being assertive. They will be labeled difficult when they refuse to back down. They will be questioned more than their male counterparts, forced to prove themselves again and again. But none of that should be a reason to retreat. If anything, it should be a reason to stand even taller, to speak even louder, to refuse to be ignored. The goal is not just to enter the room, but to shift the dynamics within it, to challenge outdated norms, to make space for other women, to ensure that the presence of a woman in leadership is no longer seen as an exception but as the standard. Support from other women plays a crucial role in this. Women must uplift one another in professional settings, amplify each other's ideas, and ensure that credit is given where it is due. The strength of one woman commanding a room is multiplied when others stand beside her, reinforcing the message that women belong in every industry, every leadership role, every decision-making process. Owning a room is not just about how others perceive you. It is about how you perceive yourself. It is about knowing that you do not have to conform, that you do not have to ask for permission, that you do not have to apologize for being ambitious, intelligent, or powerful. It is about making an impact, leaving an impression, and ensuring that when you speak, people listen. Not because you demand it, but because you have something worth saying. Leadership has long been associated with authority, dominance, and power, qualities that for generations were reserved for men. Women have been told that leadership requires toughness, that it demands aggression, that it is meant for those who can command without question. And yet, history has shown that leadership is not about control. It is about vision, resilience, and the courage to step forward even when the path is uncertain. It is about daring to lead in a world that still hesitates to place women at the top, in a world that still questions whether women can handle the pressure, make the decisions, or carry the weight of responsibility. But women have always led, whether in their homes, their workplaces, or their communities. The difference now is that they are refusing to be limited in how and where they lead. Daring to lead is about breaking away from the outdated notion that leadership has a single definition. It is about embracing the fact that leadership can be compassionate, that it can be collaborative, that it can look different and still be effective. Women do not have to lead like men to be successful. They do not have to suppress their empathy, their intuition, or their natural ability to connect with people. In fact, these qualities are what make them powerful leaders. The best leaders are not those who command with fear, but those who inspire with purpose. Women bring innovation, inclusivity, and a fresh perspective to leadership, qualities that are no longer just valuable but essential in today's world. The journey to leadership is not easy. Women who dare to lead often face resistance, doubt, and criticism. They are judged more harshly, their mistakes scrutinized more closely, their successes often downplayed or attributed to luck rather than skill. They walk into boardrooms where they are the only woman at the table, where their ideas are dismissed until they are repeated by a man, where they are constantly expected to prove their worth. But daring to lead means pushing past these barriers. It means standing firm in one's abilities, refusing to shrink, refusing to apologize for ambition. It means demanding a seat at the table, and when that seat is not offered, building a new table altogether. Leadership is not just about titles or positions of power. It is about influence, impact, and the ability to create change. Some of the most powerful leaders are not those in executive offices, but those who lead movements, those who speak up when others remain silent, those who mentor and uplift the next generation. Daring to lead means stepping into those roles with confidence, even when the world suggests otherwise. It means recognizing that leadership is not about waiting for the perfect moment, but about taking action despite uncertainty. The most successful leaders did not wait until they had every answer. They stepped forward, learned along the way, and adapted with resilience. Women who lead create pathways for others. When one woman rises, she opens doors for many. This is why representation matters. Because when young girls see women in leadership roles, they understand that they too can aspire to those positions. They learn that leadership is not reserved for a select few, but is within their reach. Every woman who dares to lead is not just leading for herself. She is leading for the countless others who will follow, for those who have been told they are not enough, for those who have been waiting for permission to step into their own power. There is no single way to lead, no perfect formula for success, but there is one universal truth. Leadership is not given, it is taken. It is claimed by those who refuse to be sidelined, by those who believe in their ability to make a difference, by those who understand that their voice, their vision, and their presence matter. The world does not need women who wait. It needs women who dare to lead, who step forward boldly, who refuse to be anything less than the powerful forces they were meant to be.